Greetings, folks. This is DC Investing. I've reached financial independence, and I'm talking about topics that may help others on their pathway to financial independence. And today, I kind of wanted to talk about what I observe in the economy and the prices of precious metals, gold and silver, and just kind of discuss where I see things as they are right now, where they might be going. Um, as of right now, it's kind of the end of October. There was a correction in the price of gold, silver, platinum, and I'm actually kind of glad that that happened, even though I own quite a few of these things. I was really starting to get worried about the state of the overall economy um, when I watched the price of those kind of just go up exponentially. And I was going to do a video on kind of towards the end of that saying, if you watch these the value of these different things, because if they keep going up and up, it portends kind of really serious financial problems in the overall market. So it didn't go on much longer than that, and then everything kind of corrected. I think it's really healthy for the precious metals to be kind of undergoing a correction right now. I noticed that there was a lot of weakness in the overall stock market, and that kind of has sort of turned around a little bit. And even though I own a lot of precious metals and miners, I'm really grateful that I guess the end of the world didn't come, because I really don't want a world where the value of your precious metal skyrockets, because that probably means sort of the end of the economy and not really something that any of us should be wanting. So overall, we had kind of a dip in the price of oil that then kind of recovered. Then like the NASDAQ seems to have gone through a weak spot and kind of tending to go up right now. October is seasonally weak traditionally. I think one of the big factors is that a lot of companies do their earnings reports during this time, and when that happens, they stop buying back stock. And company buybacks have been a huge tailwind to a lot of the stocks. So I think it's 2 weeks after they report is when they traditionally start to buy more stocks, and I think traditionally in the fourth quarter is when a lot of the companies really ramp up their buybacks. So if you've got a company that's declared a big buyback, that's one of the things that can really help in the fourth quarter of the year, is that they start buying back stock again. So kind of we're right at the end of October. The Fed meeting happens in a couple days here. They could always do a rug pull, but with just kind of judging by what I see with the NASDAQ being up quite a bit today and Friday, that the folks in the know already know what the Fed is going to do. Most likely they're going to lower rates a little bit, and that should help companies refinance debt and provide a tailwind for the market. So, you never know what may happen, but I think there's a higher probability than not that from this end part of October through November and December, we may get a fairly decent rally in the market. No idea what will happen in 2026. I really don't have any idea what's going to happen at the end of 2025. But if things kind of just hold steady, most likely the markets will continue to kind of percolate up, and that would be good for a lot of investors overall. Hard to say what may happen to the overall precious metals. Will they kind of trend around at this level? Do they go back down to their moving averages? Will they turn back up? It's really hard to say at this point. I do still think there's some kind of a short squeeze going on at the LBMA, which is the London Metal Vault. I think they got into some trouble, don't have the metal that they say they do, and that could rear its head anytime again. But I think there's some really big banks behind supporting those things, which really means they're trying to drive down the prices of precious metals. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next while. A lot of the folks that I listen to say longer term, they see the value of gold, silver, platinum only going up because of the forces in the market where banks are going to continue to lend, which is de facto money printing, and the value of the currency will kind of decline, not necessarily the dollar against the other currencies, because I think they're all going down together, but fiat in general just always becomes less and less valuable because there's more and more of it around. So a lot of the folks long term say they expect that the value of the precious metals will continue to go up. But do we have a bit of weakness for a while, or when does that actually happen? No one really knows. So, just I guess it's good to kind of take a step back and realize that our governments are over indebted. There's no way they can pay off all the debt that they have. They can't um, adhere to all the obligations that they promised between Medicaid, Social Security, the military, all the government workers. They just promised too much. There's no way they'll be able to uh, fulfill those obligations with tax receipts. Maybe you get a little bit of growth that may happen, but the people will insist that their programs stay funded, which is basically means that the government is going to eventually create more dollars to pay off those obligations, but the dollars will be worth less and less. So long term, I believe that will happen because there's no way out for the government. So that's kind of like my report of what's going on. It looks like we've got a nice little bump in the market. Uh, Seasonally, this is a strong time of the year. If something happens like, a major war breaks out, or Russia starts launching major missiles towards NATO, or NATO goes nuts and starts attacking Russia, who knows? I mean, Europe's just a basket case. You never know what they're going to do next. So, uh, barring some huge black swan, hopefully we just kind of keep percolating up and everybody does just fine. So there's kind of my summary of this. This is kind of the last week of October, getting ready for a fun Halloween, and hopefully we get a trick and not a treat towards the end of this year. So like, subscribe. Thanks so much. We'll see you. Bye.